abuser. Kevin Spacey is being treated, but there's no cure for being a creep after his repugnant behavior. Kevin Spacey is one of the rudest and most objectionable A-listers I have had the misfortune to meet, and I've interviewed Bruce Willis and Harrison Ford. As a big fan of the first couple of seasons of the new House of Cards until it disappeared up its own fundament, I was really looking forward to meeting such a gifted actor as Spacey. It was a massive letdown. I had heard he could be difficult, and it was clear he found being interviewed a massive chore, even if it meant sitting in a luxury hotel being pampered while talking about himself and a project that has earned him millions of dollars. He barely gave anyone in his entourage the time of day, and the rest of us were treated with utter disdain. I was hugely disappointed, but obviously had nothing like the level of antipathy I have for him now. Spacey is accused of being sexually inappropriate with a teenager. As we now know, Star Trek Discovery actor Anthony Rapp has alleged that Spacey made unwanted advances on him when he was just 14 years old. Spacey responded to being accused of such a serious crime by saying he was probably drunk at the time, adding, "By the way, everyone, I'm gay." I cannot believe he actually linked unacceptable and repugnant behavior with his sexuality. It's just about the worst possible way in the world to come out, and felt like a cynical attempt to deflect attention from potentially career-ending accusations. Initially, it seemed to work with various news outlets, who ought to know better, using headlines about Spacey coming out rather than the allegations of abuse. My first reaction was one of incredulity and disgust. I couldn't believe he had decided to tell the world he was gay in this way. And what was all that about, saying he was choosing to live as a gay man? Your sexuality isn't something you'd decide to put on or take off like an outfit. And by the way, Kev, we all knew you were in the closet. It was the worst kept secret in Hollywood, right up there with the myth that Harvey Weinstein was a kind-hearted, jovial mentor who was only interested in helping young actresses achieve their potential. We are told Spacey is now receiving treatment, although I'm not sure what sort of prescription could ever be written out that would cure someone of being a creep. As more stories about Spacey's alleged predatory behavior emerge, there have been accusations leveled at other stars including Dustin Hoffman. If any of these claims are true, then those concerned have used their star power in the worst possible way. What's more, if people on their payroll were aware of what was going on and allowed it to continue, they should be ashamed. Closer to home, a large stone has been lifted up in Westminster, exposing some very dark and dank deeds that reek to high heaven. No one resigns over a bit of an e-grope, especially when the person being touched up has laughed it off, so there must surely be more to the resignation of Defense Secretary Michael Fallon, even if you factor in the pathetic comments he allegedly made to Leader of the House Andrea Lead some 6 years ago, when he offered to warm up her cold hands somewhere no one ever wants to go. There's real and proper cause for concern in the accusation by a young woman working for the Labour Party who said she was raped and then instructed by a senior official not to report the alleged crime. This chills the blood. Bex Bailey needed help, but was let down by manipulative cowards. There clearly needs to be a change in culture, where powerful predators will not be tolerated or allowed to get away with their vile behavior. Older and wiser heads in the workplace need to protect younger men and women. They also need to stand up and name and shame the bullies and abusers. A word of caution, though. We must have a bit of cool-headed common sense here. There's light years of difference between a serious sexual assault and a pathetic, drunken, clumsy pass. While not tolerating any offensive behavior, I also don't think we should demonize people for behaving like sad booze-fueled idiots who don't even realize they have crossed the line. They need to be re-educated and taught boundaries, and to realize they should show the same level of respect to everyone, from a teenage intern to the big cheese at the top of the heap. This cleanup will not happen overnight. But we cannot go back to the way things were, and those brave enough to be the first to say enough is enough are real heroes. The likes of Kevin Spacey and all his ilk are pathetic losers. They have to change their behavior and learn some humility and those around them need to stop turning a blind eye. I hope Simon Cowell is feeling strong enough to head back to the X Factor this weekend because, bejesus, the show is definitely missing